God's name is going on in here? What was that ruckus?
What ruckus?
I was just in my office and I heard a ruckus.
Could you describe the ruckus, sir?
Okay, here's what I would have done. Bro, no one cares what you would have done. Actually, everyone cares. Welcome to Let Me Book the Territory, the podcast made for smart marks and nostalgia nerds. Brought to you by the Embrace the Turn Up Podcast Network. And now your hosts, A-Dub,
BA,
E-Ray, and J-Mo.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, sisters, daddy asses, all over the place. Welcome to one of the greatest wrestling podcasts of all time. It is Let Me Book the Territory. This is E-Ray, the quasi-bad guy, the Diet Coke of evil, the American Cream Brody Loads. Santos Escobar is here. Santos. And I am here joined by my illustrious co-host, the always constipated, well,
it's the Dub Show. That's right, y'all. Your boy A-Dub's in the building, the pod god, the pod tribal chief, the phenomenal A-Dub Styles, if you will. We are here. And for this episode, for this very special episode of the Embrace Turn Up, not the Embrace Turn Up, Let Me Book the Territory podcast. We are on, what is this, part 3 of the two-man power trip?
Yeah, man. This is now the Rock versus Stone Cold WrestleMania. Leather on leather. Ridiculous. Everybody's wearing leather. Brahma Bulls versus Smoking Skulls.
We have entered the Stone Cold retirement Hollywood Rock era of the two-man power trip.
Yeah. Just before, who was it? Brock came in and just fucking wrecked the Rock.
No. If we're calling this Rock Austin, this is the Mania where it was Brock versus Angle.
When
Brock.
Well, I was saying after that feud. Press. That's what I meant. After that feud.
After that feud, Rock goes away. Stone Cold goes away. And then you have that weird few years of Brock, Wrestling Machine, Perk Angle.
Yes. Weird or amazing? And
weird because like at some point he said he was gonna like rape Charmel and in a promo and Daivari was like his advocate. Yeah. It got weird. Okay. Don't get me wrong, the matches were still crazy, but it got weird towards the end of the Angle's run there.
You're right. And you've kind of already led us right into where I was thinking about. Before we kind of get into the recapping of this week's wrestling, or last week's wrestling as it would be, this week, last week, whatever the case, there were some things that I were doing, like the time that was on my hands, that I was just like, you know what? 17,000 hours of wrestling just ain't enough. Of course, I think I need some more. And I was asking because in the group chat, in our illustrious, famous Let Me Book the Territory group chat, there was talk about like week after week after week, everybody was talking about these documentaries. And I'm like, man, you know me, I'm the contrarian. I'm holding out. Like, I don't care. Because the WWE network done turned into the cock. And I can't watch what I want to watch on the cock, so I'm annoyed. And I loved having everything in one beautifully wrapped hub. So I can just go in, put on whatever I want to, and then just find some cool shit to watch. Now, WWE had inked that deal with A&E, and they have like several different things. Rivals, the Legends documentaries, and all this stuff that I was not aware of. the treasures and things like that. I remember those, but I just never seen them. So you guys told me A&E, just download the app. And what did I find? A fucking wealth, man. A wealth of incredible, like, nostalgic.
A hidden treasure, if you will.
Man, beautiful. Like, you could pay Kane to come to my house and I wouldn't be upset this time to just like watch random wrestling docs. So just to get into it a little bit, because you said the Perk Angle shit, that was one of the last ones I watched. I watched Goldberg. I watched, like, I guess even just to speak, I watched the Bella Twins. I watched Lex Luger. Like,
Luger one was
these are people that I don't fucking care about, but watching these documentaries, it was incredible. I was like, I couldn't believe how much I was into the Bella Twins, and then I was like, no, they really were like completely different than what I thought. I thought they were just like the models that wrestle, but no, they legitimately wanted to get in because they were physical athletes. They're from Scottsdale, Arizona. Shout out to Scottsdale. And I was like, oh, they were soccer chicks that tried out, and everybody else had like the breast implants and they Hooters for Gooters and all this shit, and they were just like, no, we want to wrestle. And then they were a part of the Give Divas a Chance hashtag, and essentially because of their popularity on Total Divas, it brought in a whole new audience that ushered in what we now have as women's wrestling. So that was fantastic. I watched Lex Luger. I don't want to wax poetic about all of them without including you. Have you seen like the documentary? I know we talked a little bit, but I wanted to talk on air. Which ones did you see particularly? So then we can go from there.
So big shout out to BA for being the one championing these documentaries to both of us. But prior to like this past couple of weeks, the only one I had watched was from the last season, and it was the Yokozuna one. Because growing up, I didn't know a lot about Yoko. I watched
legitimately thought he was a Japanese man.
I did too.
Until 100%. Like 2 years ago.
100%. Like when they used to say like, oh, he's part of the Samoan dynasty, I just assumed he was a cousin of a cousin of a cousin of a cousin of a cousin that married another cousin.
Yeah, honestly. Not like directly involved.
Yeah, like, not like, oh, that's actually like, that's fam. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched that one. And then this past couple weeks, I watched the Angle, I watched the Luger. Because coming up as a kid, I just knew Luger as like a body guy, an NWO Red guy, and that was about it. And the Torture Rack guy.
Stiff-ass worker. Yeah, like
everything.
I knew nothing. It
looked like everything he did hurt, which was confirmed.
Hurt him. Like he just, like so stiff and shit. And I was just like, wow, I watched that one, and then I recently looked up a picture of him, and I seen him in a wheelchair and all skinny, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, did he got Garrett's disease? And I was immediately like interested, but not interested enough to keep reading. I was like, this is sad. I'm out. So I left that, and then not until I really just watched this documentary that it really hit me like, holy shit, like he was an asshole. He was this one guy, like that was they moved old Anderson out of there, and then put him into the Four Horsemen. He was a part of the Four Horsemen. Then that catapulted him, and he got the first guaranteed contract in wrestling, and he was making all the monies. Then he just kept jumping ship. Because I remember somewhat some of the vignettes, through the Yokozuna documentary of Lex Luger slamming him, power slamming him. And I was like, oh, so now we got to see how that happened from the narcissist, because I used to always call myself the narcissist. That was my shit. But then I was like, oh, that gimmick wasn't working good enough, and Vince seen an opportunity to create this all-American guy. And crazy shit is he had this man on a fucking bus just cruising USA all through all the middle America countries like he was campaigning for real, and he was like, this is some bullshit. And he was such a heel.
You know what's funny about that whole campaign is that it highlights one of the things that we've said about Vince for a long time. Like he pushes guys and puts them in positions that aren't them, and at some point it just wears on them and it doesn't work. the same thing with Roman. When he had Roman out there smiling and shit, and we were like,
with blue-eye contacts in and shit.
Yeah.
You noticed that, right?
Succotash? I did. But then you let him be him, and you're like, oh, this is probably some of the greatest shit ever. Same thing with Rock and all these guys. Like, and that's part of like the whole thing. Like,
let Mox be Mox.
Oh, part of the thing is like when you build something that's so successful, the things that work for you also become your detriment because you're like, well, it worked before when it wasn't supposed to work, and it got me to this big place. It has to just keep working. And
right.
Luger was a prime example of it. Like you said, Mox, Rock, Roman. I mean, shit, AJ Styles, when they brought him in, he thought it was just going to be a solid worker, like a mid-card champion guy. Like, oh, no, Vince, this is kind of sort of AJ fucking Styles. Yeah. This is the guy. Like, and it's funny because it happened to Styles in a time where Vince was like, Roman to the moon. Seth, close to the moon. But they were like, no, you kind of got the guy. You don't need to do anything else. So, like, it's just interesting. Like, you see, like, oh, Vince has just kind of been doing it this way this entire time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, through each of them, you got a very interesting representation of Vince, and like, I think a mainstream or a main like thread throughout each documentary was, for me, that stood out because I've watched like all of them now, almost. I need to watch the DX one, and I'm gonna watch a lot of the first season, and I gotta watch the first season. So I'm gonna go back because this is beautiful to me. Some of this stuff is happening when I wasn't watching wrestling. For instance, like the Bellas, I was kind of out on wrestling during their like emergence. I seen it when they kind of got together and they split the Stephanie match, but didn't see stuff prior to. Same thing with a lot of Kurt Angle. Like, Kurt Angle was only in the WWE for 6 years. And most of that I wasn't watching. I watched the beginning of it, and then that was it. So, but the main thread I seen throughout each was like those injuries. It was like the wear and tear on your body, and they say your body only has so many bumps. Everybody has a bump count, and you don't know what it is. You don't know when it is, but everybody has a bump count. And from the crazy thing of Nikki Bella, like her move, the rack attack, slowly breaking her neck, which is, and it doesn't even seem like a crazy move. She just has a torture rack, and she drops down to her knees with you on her shoulders.
Yeah.
Yet that was breaking her neck. Or Kurt Angle and chronic pain, and him popping 65 painkillers a day.
That's like nuts.
That's enough to kill not one horse, but a whole fucking farm. Like, it reminded me of Dope Sick. I don't know if you ever seen the Dope Sick miniseries on Hulu.
It's on my list.
Incredible.
I have not watched it yet.
It's incredible, but when he starts to say like how the tolerance like builds up and you need more and more and more, it will harken you automatically back to Dope Sick, because it was always about increasing the dose, and you would get there and then everybody's basically running from withdrawals. So he was just running from it, and then he started adding alcohol into it. So it was just a lot of like painstaking injuries and shit that was just like, man, you don't know. This is stuff that we don't know as fans, or you don't get until afterwards. So I thought that was incredible. But as a big fan of like the behind the scenes shit, I loved every second of it. So I can't get enough, whether it was the Bellas and then seeing how Brie and Bryan Danielson got together, or how Nikki and John Cena, like how they ended and why they actually ended. I thought it was like, oh, this bitch just on some bullshit. Or John, Big Match John, left his other wife, so he was like, I'm out of here. But he really cared about her, but they just could not agree on kids. And I was like, well, who knew? It's just so many the nuggets that you'll get from those documentaries. Incredible. But I will say, everybody, when you get a chance, please go watch those documentaries. One thing that I hope for possibly season 3, I hope we get, and I know it's unlikely because we're about to talk about them, but I hope we get a CM Punk talk.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh. Cause like, so I know like a lot of Punk's story, and that that's a hell of a story. Like, and if you could get him to sit down and tell it unfiltered, boy, you got some Emmy Award winning shit.
I mean, well, the way things are looking, we just might.
Yeah, either CM Punk's about to win an Emmy, the first Emmy ever for wrestling, or shit's about to go down, and it's about to go south quickly.
Man, shit was all good just a week ago.
It was.
What is happening?
So Dynamite starts out, Punk comes out, and you're like, all right, Punk is back. And we're used to Punk coming out, you know, cutting a promo to start the show. He usually did it on Rampage, and because when he came out, that's when Rampage was trying to get going. Yep. He starts his promo with like, all right, I got two things on my mind, one not important and one kind of important. And we're like, all right, what's the not so important? And he goes on this tirade about Hangman Adam Page, which doesn't fit into any storyline involving CM Punk at all. And you're like, this feels real. What's going on here? And he called Page out, knowing Page wasn't even there that night, and then said a line that, as someone who has been disrespected and has disrespected people, I know this line well. The apology has to be just as loud as the disrespect. I said, oh no, that's real shit right there. No, these are two people that are going to fight.
They got a black woman behind them, feeding them. That's what that is. Got it.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, the neck was moving and everything.
Yeah, he was clapping.
Yeah. And then after that, he calls out Moxley with a scathing promo that, again, felt a little personal. He said he was the third best member in his own group right now. And he said, oh, Mox should be used to it because he was the third best member in the Shield. His best friend is the third best Eddie I've ever been in the ring with. John's not even the first person I'm going to take a belt from in Chicago. I was like,
goes on and on and on.
And then says the ultimate bully shit of, tell me when I'm not telling the truth. I was like, damn, this is going.
Tell me when I'm lying.
Yeah.
Tell me when I'm lying. And then he continued to, he said, yeah, he said, your best friend is the third best Eddie that I've shared the locker room with. And
the second best Kingston.
Yeah, and the second best Kingston.
I was like, yo.
And Kofi was somewhere like, hey, what's going on here, guys? And it was just great. So, love that.
Kofi got his Jamaican accent back when he heard that.
Yeah. Guan.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Punk. Yeah.
Yeah.
CM Punk.
Yeah, so that was great. I loved it. And then I was like, Then Mox's music hits. And unlike what they typically always do is sit there and wait for him to come down. He's like, oh no, I got some time till he comes out. I'm gonna do some Snow Angels. And he just fucking around.
Punk went into business for himself, for sure.
Yes, and it felt probably the first time that CM Punk felt unhinged like the WWE CM Punk that we all know and love, and why we started watching this version, because we were hoping to get that one back. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. This feels, and since he was sitting down in the ring with the legs crossed, this wasn't like, oh, I'm putting over the younger guys and I want to wrestle the Darby Allins and I'm smiling. He came out with a fucking agenda. And I was like, oh, okay, we on that shit.
Angry.
I think before he walked out, he sent that text with the meme of Irv Gotti. Like, when you send this, you know I'm about to bring up some shit. And they was like, oh, we just gonna let you rock. And this is what happened. And I loved every minute of it. Then, of course, Moxley comes out. And he starts cutting into him as well. He said, hey, smells like broken here. The only reason you back is because you needed a check. And he was like, you think your words are powerful, but all you do is talk shit. Let's fight right now. And I was like, let's go. Chicago versus Cincinnati.
It started to feel like
Midwest.
Mox took this a little personally, the way he like threw his belt, and I was like, oh.
Yes.
I'm like, that's something wrestlers never do. Now dropping it on like the ramp as you're running to get into a fight is one thing.
Or dropping it when you are trying to escape somebody else. Yo, it's E-Ray, the quasi bad guy, the Diet Coke of evil, the side god of pod, and I'm here to tell y'all, come check out my show, Binge Flicks and Chill. You never know what you're gonna get, but we always talking some good shit when it comes to television and the latest movies. So we want to bring y'all in. We want to make sure you have a good time. You learn something, you laugh, you cry, you might stab a nigga or two. I don't know what you're gonna get, but that shit's popping. So come check out Binge Flicks and Chill. And it's me, E-Ray, and I'm out.
Yeah.
But he said this one, if I can't,
mean shit.
He's like, this don't mean shit no more.
Yours like, don't mean shit. Yeah. And he threw it. Wow. And I was like, I kind of want to talk to some old school wrestling heads and see how they feel about that. Because that's something I feel like they would say is disrespecting the business.
I mean, well, I know he's not here. But BA will give us a full analysis of Jim Cornette and like Eric Bischoff and these other elderly guys, Bruce Pritchard. Everybody's gonna tell us the you don't disrespect the title. The title means everything to this business. So and yeah, we're gonna get that analysis from BAP history.
And I say that because like Moxley isn't a type of person to disrespect the business, but I think he probably felt that Punk went over the line a little bit with the shots to Kink, to Eddie, with all the shots. But again, Punk is pissed off. Apparently, so what I'm reading is that like Punk is pissed off about the promo Adam Page cut a while back that kind of went a little personal. And he's also pissed that he might have been losing that belt at All Out. And the rumor was they thought he might not show up yet last night. And I think that's part of the reason they moved it. I don't think they were gonna move this match until last night happened.
Yeah,
so they moved that unification match to next week.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, what's happening? It's next week? I thought this was All Out.
It was All Out.
Okay.
But they moved it to next week, and
I guess I'm all in. I don't know, whatever it takes. I'm watching that shit. They restoring the feeling, and this is what we've asked for because it's been less Steves, more beats, play the hits. We got fantastic ridiculousness going on with the main title picture and CM Punk. And like the unification shit. Great time. And then him and Moxley, it feels very personal. It feels very real. I don't know what's going on, but I have to tune in to watch it because I'm like, what's going to happen? Is that Bulldog choke really going to get sunk in? Is he going to put him down? Or is he going to mention his UFC shit? Because that's one of the things.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I know it gets real. If anybody mentions Punk's UFC career, then it's like, oh, okay, because that's the one line that I'm sure he's like, we don't cross. So that's what I'm waiting for. But while we're on the subject, two things. One, I needed your prediction. Who's gonna take this belt? The unification match. Does Moxley go ahead? Because literally everybody in the damn Blackpool Combat Club, the BCC, has belts. It's a belt party.
It is a belt party.
So, I mean, they need to keep that, or do you need to keep CM Punk happy? And now that he's healthy, does he continue this reign and he had to step up? Because also the BCC is red hot for AEW standards.
So follow me here. I think Moxley wins, and the only reason I would say that is because they moved the match. If you have CM Punk lose in Chicago, you might actually have a riot.
So he loses, and then does they run it? They run it back at All Out, or because that's not like them. They don't hot potato
They don't hot potato. No, I think CM Punk might be like he might be walking away. He might be doing what he did after he took the belt off of John, walking out the door, and then
except for this time, no belt.
This time no belt. And then, they work through whatever issues they got. Him and Adam Page go to couples therapy or whatever.
That's not cowboy shit. That's coward shit.
Yeah. Yeah, dog.
Damn. Champion shit. That promo is electric, man. There's something is happening. Something is going on. Something is in the water. But guess what? Wrestling fans, I don't understand the tribalism. Whether you like AEW, whether you like WWE.
Oh, there's tribalism in AEW right now. Mox versus Punk has split that fan base in half. It is the Captain America Civil War between neckbeards right now.
Right. What do you say?
The neckbeard Civil War has started.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I could see it now, but it's just I don't even understand it because I am so appreciative of having both companies and having just good entertainment for the hours that I actually put into this form or this genre now. Because before it was a slog. Like I'm watching this shit, hate watching it. It's like watching I Am Legend with Will Smith. I watch that movie every time. Why? I don't know. Or better yet, Batman versus Superman. Oh, that's a very polarizing movie that only the neckiest of neckbeards love. I'm like, this movie is awful, but I keep watching it because so many people like it that I gotta watch. Like, am I missing something? Martha.
Why did he say that name?
Right?
That's his mom's name. Lois, how the fuck did you get here so fast? How did you know to go get the spear? Why are there so many plot holes in this movie? Where's the trigger?
Why'd you pee in a jar? I don't understand anything. Like, wouldn't Superman be fast enough to, get people out? He just let those people explode. Anyway, it's that polarizing. But at this point, for me, I'm now excited. I never know what's going to happen, what's going on, all the title changes, all the storylines, all the wrestling. And both companies are probably at the best they've been in quite some time. And we're privileged
a 2 out of 3 falls match on a Wednesday. That was phenomenal. And that's after this crazy double promo from CM Punk where he's calling everybody bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened. That happened, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not, and not only that, a possible tease. It's so many things. But let's kind of roll into it. The CM Punk thing. You said you think Moxley's taking the belt from him. I'm gonna say whatever. I'm going with CM Punk. I feel like he somehow wins it, and I don't know why, but I just feel like it might be too early just to take it off him. But Jon Moxley he is the heart and soul of the company, like he said, and CM Punk is $1 and cents. I love that line. That was a good line. But that happened. But transitioning from that news of the BCC, then we get possible tease with Bryan Danielson facing Daniel Garcia, 2 out of 3 falls match. Excellent match. Lots of fire and heat on it. And at the very end, because let's just cut it. We know that was going to be a fantastic wrestling match. Mm-hmm. That's okay. That's fine. What happened at the end is what we're talking about. Dub. Is Daniel Garcia going to join the BCC?
You're a wrestler. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
In that sports entertainment shit. And out of here.
Yeah, him. You know what? If it were me, here's how I would do it. You do the breakup, but then Daniel doesn't join immediately. Wheeler Yuta's like, nah, man, remember all this shit you was talking? Nah, you want to join the BCC, you got to go through me. You got to go through me. And they just, they have a blood feud war. And honestly, I would be cool for ending in a draw since I don't like your champions losing non-title matches.
Yeah.
And but there's just blood everywhere. And then by the time they stand up, they shake hands. And then, I don't know, Claudio throws him a shirt or something. Yeah, sign me all the way up. Daniel Garcia is a hell of a fucking wrestler. That Dragon Sleeper he had Bryan Danielson in with the hammerlock, I felt my labrum starting to tear. Just watching that, I said, oh my God, that looks so painful.
You should be careful what you watch. Does that happen with anything else? Like when you watch something, do you buy it?
When Sasha used to take bumps, I would feel my neck hurt. I'm like, oh my God, like what are you doing, Sasha? And then when Nikki was taking bumps with Carmella, specifically on her broken neck, I was like, it hurts my neck.
Well,
I don't know, voodoo doll effect.
Yeah, I was like, Dub has extra sensory powers, ladies and gentlemen. So he should probably be careful to not watch filth. Because he's just like secondhand experience. Oh, God.
That's why I watch so much filth. What are you talking about?
Oh, blast. Gotcha. Well, with that said, I think that will be interesting. I don't know really what's going to happen, whether Daniel Garcia is going to join or he's not going to join. Is it a ploy? It's so fun to think about. But every time you say something, it just brings me back to the CM Punk and Moxley shit. Because you just said it's going to be blood everywhere. CM Punk dropped the bar and said, what are you going to do? Bleed all over me? It was like... It is like, as we said, Moxley must bleed. So it's just so good. Oh, man. But yes, with the Blackpool Combat Club, I think Daniel Garcia could be a great addition. But in that case, I wonder what would happen with the Giz Society.
I think he can just leave. They got too many people as it is. Like before they added Sammy, they had just enough people.
True.
Then they added
now
Sammy,
they got 2.0.
brought in 2 chicks. They got 2.0. They got Jake Hager
/ Everrise. They got Jake, the Jakest of Hagers.
Yeah.
Steve Hager. They have Sammy, Anna Giz, and Ty Mello. So yeah, I mean maybe you're right, and I think they're more all suited for sports entertainment gig. He was just there to kind of get his name out, and now he belongs with the actual wrestler. So yeah, I think that's something they should have, like a Garcia on a pole match.
Yeah, like he was just there because he was just so cool with 2.0.
Yeah,
like his inclusion, like outside of his friendship with 2.0, doesn't really make sense. But again, the Blackpool Combat Club didn't exist yet. They were still putting it together, and they hadn't even signed Regal yet. But now that this thing is a thing, and everybody's healthy, presumably, you send DG over there, and you let him work and do his thing.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I really enjoy what's going on. It's interesting. I was like, as much as I didn't care about Daniel Garcia, I think his association with Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson getting the rub just feels right. Mm-hmm. He's such a good technical wrestler, and so is Bryan Danielson. So you just like watching them go for it, and them the reverse into the heel hook, all the ankle lock shit. Like they were doing some chain wrestling. They were throwing each other. Bryan Danielson was at the top rope, German suplexed him, and he caught that right on them shoulders. And I was like, oh, an inch too close. That would have been his neck.
Yeah.
So, man, they were working, and I was like, it was very fun to watch. And of course, he got the first Daniel Garcia got that first pinfall super fast. So it was just like, oh my gosh. And Bryan Danielson was out of it, and they just started it immediately. Like, oh shit, what's happening?
I didn't think he was gonna make that count. I really didn't.
Hey,
I was like, oh shit,
the magic of wrestling.
And like,
right?
if Daniel Garcia is about to beat Daniel Bryan 2-0, I mean, believe it.
He's the Dragon Slayer, the American Dragon Slayer, apparently. So, at the House of Dragons Fest of Fighters,
with Wiki the Dragon Steamboat as guest, timekeeper. Oh, so many dragons.
God. So many dragons, so little time.
Dragon Ball Z. Goku was there and everything.
Oh, I was about to say, I thought they was in Westeros. Like it was whichever. Like the Lady of Dragons, the House of Dragons. It was just nuts. So many dragons. Even like you said, the Everrise 2.0 guys caught a heart punch from Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It was the slowest heart punch I ever seen, but he was serious. It was like Kill Bill Volume 2. Like she hit him with the I thought Everrise was gonna take 2 steps and just heart explode and then just die. Like, Ricky!
He taught you the 5-point exploding palm technique. Of course he did, Bill.
Yeah, and I definitely thought the Wizard, Chris Jericho, was gonna throw a fireball in the Steamboat's face. And then
Ricky should have just stood there and like, those do not affect me. I am the dragon.
I would have loved if he would have wound up and they would just put it in slow motion and it would have been just like Boys in the Hood. Ricky! And the fireball blew his chest out. I'm with it.
Or Jericho throws a fireball at Ricky, it hits Ricky, and he throws a bigger one back at Jericho.
Oh, well, there you go. He hit a block move. I didn't know that was like Street Fighter.
A parry, if you will. A parry.
Yeah, I was like, that was Street Fighter. See, Street Fighter times, what, you know how they add the thing, like Street Fighter times Boys in the Hood would be a fantastic video game. I would play that until I'm dead. It would be the funnest game. Ice Cube, Doughboy just throwing like bullets at you and footballs. You can play like little Doughboy. That'd be amazing.
Ricky has like the Bison Psycho Crusher, except it's him running like a running back.
Yeah. Going to college. Finish him. Right.
KO.
Right. Man with shotgun wins. Flawless victory. Like, damn. Yeah, that would be great. And, you know, we're the guys to pitch this because AEW Fight Forever is apparently coming soon. We don't have a release date. We know it'll be on all councils. But we have no idea when it's coming out. It's going to be awful, but I'm probably going to get it.
The cover just looks like everybody surrounded by kryptonite or something. You know? I'm like, okay, this is what you guys came up with. All right, guys.
Hey, Fight Forever. They said Fight Forever, not develop the game forever. That shit's going to be... It's like, look, we got 10 days. What y'all want to do? It's like, all right, well, put that shit out.
Are those guys at THQ still working? Can we get AKI Man in this game?
Mocap. Like, what is this? I'm going to play it, though. And we're going to do a full-on review. We might do a Twitch stream. Let Me Book the Territory's Twitch stream coming soon. As soon as the house gets ready and shit. But, the Daniel Garcia shit was cool. I'll tell you my highlight of this Dynamite was the trios work. And the
Whoa, hold the phone. E-Ray saying something positive about the trios.
I mean,
hell is frozen over.
Wait.
Tony Khan deserves
not only the trios,
the Nobel Peace Prize.
Hold on. You got to really go in deep here. Not only the trios titles or the trios matches, but the trios matches involving the Young Bucks. The trios matches involving the Young Bucks and Andrade and 2 other random Spanish dudes.
How do you nominate Tony Khan for a Nobel Peace Prize? He achieved something I did not think was possible. He got E-Ray to care about the trios titles and care about a Los Ingobernables match.
I mean, you know,
and a Young Bucks match. Granted, they're one and the same. Still,
You know how
and he didn't even mention Kenny. He didn't even mention Kenny Omega at all.
I was
he
about to say,
mentioned the Bucks and Andrade.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Smiles, a.k.a. Hip Hop Adam Schefter, a.k.a. LaJosh James, a.k.a. for all the ladies, the Chocolate Sauce Bandit. You already know what it is. Tune into an Audible Ruckus every week. And don't forget to check out my 2 shows at Shot vs. Smiles and Music Impulse on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, whatever. Tune in. It's your boy Smiles, and I'm out.
Well, you pulled a BA. You just had to steal my thunder. I'm gonna say, you know how he did it? He called a man from North Carolina. Yes. And I popped for all the random, ridiculous accomplishments that they listed off. And we had a Kenny Omega return. It's been 200 something plus days. And Kenny Omega returned in a t-shirt or a Under Armour shirt, a shoulder brace. And he played up the knee stuff. How much are you taking on? Are you a mark right now? Do you believe it, or do you think he was working this?
No, I mean I don't believe playing up the injury. He looked gassed, so I can tell they gave him this target week back, and he said, "Yeah, that's when I'm wrestling again." He wasn't gonna slow play it at all. Yeah, he looked gassed towards the end for sure. But I mean,
True.
he was taking those bumps.
Even when he did,
I think he's fully healed though.
Even when he did the I don't know how you would call that, like a vertical, horizontal Death Valley driver into the flip, and he missed it and he fell, kind of like CM Punk. He just looked at it and he was like, "All right, guys." They're like, "Yeah, I couldn't get it," but they really played into it. This match was incredible. I think they did something that has been hard to do. Again, like you said, Tony, TK, when you get a chance and you get your nose out of other stuff, you can take a look around and collect your flowers, man. Because the Young Bucks, I have trouble following their matches when they're not facing correct competition. The Luchadors is right up their alley. So when you got a bunch of Lucha guys, they can get off all their tag team shit, and it's so fun. The tag team guys can take their shit. They can do other shit where it just looks really good. And we get a match that's incredibly entertaining, incredibly athletic, and then they still manage to tell a really good story and have you believing, these near falls feel like, people are dead. There's no possible way they can kick out of this. And then they kick out of it. So, fantastic job there. And I shout out to Andrade, Roosh, and Dragon Lee as well.
Yeah, truthfully, outside of this match, if I had to show someone a match that shows you that the Young Bucks are great wrestlers, it would be their matches against the Lucha Brothers. Because, like you said, their style, it works against Luchadors and against the rapid work rate guys. Slower, methodical workers. What the Bucks
like
do,
FTR and stuff, it doesn't really hit for me because
FTR, Red Dragon, the Briscoes.
Yeah, because of the style, and that style is a little bit more methodical. It's slower, so they're telling more of the story, and you lose a lot of the crazy athleticism that only they have. Yeah, some of the shit that Matt and Nick can pull off. I think it was Matt just took off, ran up the top rope, and then just did a crazy spin dive flip outside of the ring, and I was like, that was incredibly perfect.
And I think that's one of the things old heads lose out on with the Bucks when they complain about their style. It's like, you're not telling the story. I'm like, sometimes the story is we're just gonna offense you to death. I don't know how many old heads of wrestling actually watch basketball, but there's some basketball teams that just don't play defense. They're just gonna outscore you.
Yeah, that was the Phoenix Suns.
The Phoenix Suns,
2005 to
05, 06. Yeah, not a defense. Any Mike D'Antoni team of the past 20 years.
Yeah, but they were the team that achieved it.
We're gonna score a lot of points, and we're gonna play offense, and that's what the Bucks do. You'll never see the Bucks get into a counter chain wrestling thing against like a DB or like a Kyle O'Reilly. But what they will do is dump you on your head, kick you in your head a lot, jump off the top rope, and like you're like, oh shit, this
and
is their
then
thing.
do it in tandem. That's what makes it. That's what makes it great. I'm not gonna hold you. It's not just that they do these crazy moves solo. It's like that they figure out a way to really make tag team wrestling fun. Like, oh, somebody's on a backbreaker, catch somebody with a backbreaker, then somebody jumps and does a coup de grace on his chest, and then somebody then comes careening across and catches them with a knee, and you're like, and you don't know where to look because this is happening. That's good wrestling. And again, you can tell a story by that being the thing where you're hitting this person with everything and they're still getting up. That's the story. It's not just, nothing means nothing. But neither here nor there. Yeah, that was one for first round. Kenny says, hey guys, I will be better for the Bucks. So excited. Needless to say, the Bucks won. Really good match. And then I believe Rush and Andrade beat the shit out of his brother. Did
unmasked him and everything. Yeah,
that was disrespect.
Which was weird because like the show was going off the air, and it almost looked like Kenny didn't know that was gonna happen. And I was like, all right, did Andrade and Rush think they had more time to do this turn? And no one told them show over.
Yeah, it's like y'all got 2 minutes. He's like, oh, sorry, 2 seconds. And Excalibur was like, tune in next time. Next time we'll see you on Friday. And then he ran. So yeah, something like that happened, and I was like, oh well, okay. So we got that.
So Dragon Lee, I guess, is now on his own, which does not bode well for him.
That was my match. Yeah, he's like Rey Mysterio on WCW. With Master P. Mexican Steve. Okay. Anyway.
Mexican Mass Steve, yes.
Yeah. Outside of that was my favorite match of the evening. Did you have a different one?
No. I mean, truly, there's only 3 matches on the card. Tony Storm beat up some female Steve. Yeah. Yeah. He had the 2 out of 3 falls match.
Wait. But that Steve was from Painesville, Ohio. Shout out to her. That's where they had the haunted houses for most of my life. So that's the only reason why I know, Painesville, the House of Painesville or some shit like that. Back in the day, the eight houses of terror, 8 levels of hell, some goofy shit. Whatever. Haunted houses rule.
Yeah, right. Tony Storm won that on her road to going against Thunder Rosa at All Out. And then the 2 out of 3 falls, and then this trios match, I'm pretty sure, right? That was it.
Yeah, I think because the
Gun Club turned on.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Too.
The Gun Club match was over in 18 seconds.
They beat the Varsity Steves.
Yeah, that was crazy, and I was like, "Damn, I know your name now, Griff Garrison." I was like, "Oh shit, look at Griff! Oh shit, look at Griff.
Shit,
damn, this shit's over." It's like I went around like, "Hey, I know his name now." Then I turn around like, "Damn, the match is over." And I seen the Gun Club. Before I could even text it, I was like, "Oh, they're about to turn on Daddy ass." Could not even get it out.
Did you notice how they went to hit Billy Gunn in the back of the head and Billy didn't go down?
No, I missed it. I just seen that
it
turned on. I was like,
when the turn happened, Austin runs up and just, forearm to the back of the head, and Billy just kind of stumbles like, "Did you hit me? What happened?
What was that? What was that? Daddy ass.
Was that a fly?" Yeah, so they really had to play up the jumping.
Whipping his ass, and the music hits. Doom, 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 doom.
And then JR just says, "Listen!"
Yeah, listen. Listen, barbecue sauce. Listen.
JR's really a fan of the Acclaim. He said listen 7 times when they were out there.
I love the Acclaim.
Listen!
I am listening. I don't have my earpiece in. JR is just fucking in King of the Hill somewhere. He doesn't know where he is. And it's okay. It's okay, JR. We love you still.
It's okay.
But,
I still love you.
Oh, by golly, listen. And
so we're going to get
Anthony Bowens
acclaimed in Gun Club at All Out.
Yeah. And of course, the craziest thing happens. Big Stoke comes out and they jump daddy ass. And you're like, oh, crazy. That family is broken up. And Acclaim comes out and Bowens screams, "Scissor me daddy ass," and the crowd.
That Montel's Ford workout?
Nuts. Me as well. I lost it. And I was like, that's so
Gotta
good.
be.
I'm just so happy for the Acclaimed. And what's the name looks huge.
Is Max Caster hearing all the talk about Anthony Bowens legitimately being a 5-tool player?
I was like, is he?
He's like, oh no, you can't leave me behind.
That same juice that Montez. Yeah, the Michael Secret stuff.
Listen.
Like, yeah, or Lex Luger's secret stuff. One of the two. I don't know, but hey, hard work. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Listen. Well, I'll say it 18 more times for JR. But yes, I thought that was my favorite segment of the night, besides the continuation of Mox and CM Punk. They had about 3 different breakups that just kept happening. And it was like Moxley was really mad. He was like, no, fuck that. We are doing this. Let's fight right now. And then he was about to jump on CM Punk. And it was just craziness. I was like, this is anarchy. I love it.
He knocked out Tony Nese for no reason.
Yeah. And I was like, damn. Like, just casualties of war. Tony Nese and 8 of his abs went flying everywhere. It was crazy. And I was like, oh man. And then he came out and it was about to go again. And then Claudio came out and just picked him up like a child. I was like, come on, let's go. And they did. So again,
Stokes stable now. We got the roster. Gun Club. We got is Dante Martin joining?
I don't know. I haven't watched Rampage. I try to watch Rampage. I don't watch Rampage.
No. It was Lee Moriarty. I'm sorry, yes. Lee Moriarty, All Ego, Ethan Page.
Yes,
and now the Gun Club.
That's a nice stable if they can.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's some good talkers for sure.
Yeah,
and then
this is interesting.
Some good wrestling. So
yeah,
that could be very fun. I need a good name though, because some of these names are terrible. What are the guys called? That new stable. It was an awful name.
The Trustbusters.
Yeah. Oh,
with Parker Bordeaux, Arya Davari,
and now Sonny Kiss.
And some random and some other random. I don't know who he is.
Yeah. Was it Skinny J? Look at Skinny J. He's like, I'm so skinny. He's like the new Marco Stunt. I'm Skinny J. I was like, all right, well.
That's like the weirdest looking faction I've ever seen. I'm like,
it's like the oddities. That's what they just call them, the oddities. That'd be cool.
Job Squad.
I mean, you're not wrong, but they don't know it, but right. Neither here nor there. I think that's pretty much all. I thought Private Party versus Swerve in Our Glory will be happening Rampage, I want to say, for the tag belts. I
thought it was next week at Dynamite.
Oh, maybe one or two. I don't know, but I'm interested. I'm with it. I think Swerve in Our Glory is fun, and then we got some more weird, interesting shit with what's his name? Starks, Will Hobbs, and then somehow they introduced that Nightmare Factory faction or whatever.
Like, what happened? So last week, Aaron Solo had a match with Starks, And the Nightmare Factory told Hobbs, like, hey, don't worry, we're going to take out Ricky Starks for you. And Hobbs said, better get it done or you're going to have to deal with me. And they didn't get it done.
Best to do
so
it.
Now I guess Hobbs is going to beat them up, I guess.
What's that big dude's name? He's going to beat the shit out of him. That dude always catch the big L's. Call him Big L. Come here, Big L. You about to take a big L. I forget his name all the time, but him. When I see his face, he looks like the guy from Bloodsport. Like, yeah, I'm okay. Then fucking Bolo breaks his legs or some shit. Yeah, that's that same guy. Something. Damn, I had it. It was just in my mind. It was like something Camacho or some random name. Whatever. Don't matter. Steve. Big ass Steve.
Big ass Steve.
Other than that, I think that's all of AEW thus far. Besides the thing, I guess I wanted to talk really quickly just about the tribalism. Like, what do you think about that? Like, people have been saying like, oh man, it would have been great if they were in here though, or blah blah blah. Do you feel like that's warranted? Do you feel like some of the stuff that AEW does would maybe have been better suited in WWE, or do you think people are just like sucking dick for the other company?
I think people need to go outside and touch grass. Go outside.
I'd much rather go outside. I much rather go outside and touch some ass and touch some grass. Yeah. Touch some ass on some grass.
Touch some ass. Yeah.
Yeah, they would get them neutrons, electrons. That's called grounded.
It's just like, I think what you're seeing in the tribalism is a lot of people whose fandom of like these people that are in AEW was so fringe that they didn't talk about it on the internet because no one knew what they were talking about. Now people know what they're talking about, but then there are people who are like fans of this mainstream thing over here. Mm-hmm. So they clash, and these other people are like, I just kind of like wrestling. I just think, what they're doing over here is more interesting. But then there's these AEW. No, Vince doesn't know. No, nothing they could do would be better. No.
Yeah.
Remember Moxley in the Mountie outfit? No. It's so bad.
Yeah. I think both, it's kind of like both groups have a point, sadly enough, because yes, AEW is a really good show and it caters to a certain fan base and crowd. So yeah, they have the right to like that stuff because it's going to be catered to them. It's a lot of like actual wrestling, and it's not a lot of like the fluff, the goofy shit. You ain't got to worry about somebody randomly, backstage segment about somebody in catering cutting the cheese, or some goofy shit. But you get a lot of like good wrestling and really good matchups, and it's also let me book the territory member J-Mo, to his point, you do get a lot of people that we may not have been able to see or get showcased on television almost weekly, if not weekly. So there's that. But let's not be remiss if we didn't mention some of the big blunders where let's throw Jericho off the cage into some cardboard. Because y'all didn't.
Into some pillows.
Yeah, because y'all didn't get the camera angle right. Or let's blow up John Moxley and Eddie Kingston with a sparkler.
Even this week, Tony Storm's match against Kylan King was mostly shown in picture-in-picture.
There was another match that I could say that had the same thing, and it was the main event in WWE. So yeah, I
was asleep for that, so
okay. Well, just saying. So I think there's certain things there's like definitely could be better. But with that said, would you like to go to Monday night.
The best weekly show in all of professional wrestling.
Yeah, I was like one of the two. Which one? Wherever you want to go.
Oh, we can always go to NXT. You know me.
All right. Well, I mean, it's like you got a little hot there because of that heat wave that was coming on, and of course, J-Mo's air conditioner is not working. That is not why he is not here today, because the heat wave hit him. He watched Braun break him, and he broke his air conditioner.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Smiles, a.k.a. Hip Hop Adam Schefter, a.k.a. LaJosh James, a.k.a. for all the ladies, the Chocolate Sauce Bandit. You already know what it is. Tune into an Audible Ruckus every week. And don't forget to check out my 2 shows at Shot vs. Smiles and Music Impulse on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, whatever. Tune in. It's your boy Smiles, and I'm out.
It was crazy. So, guys, we got to talk about the best. Well, hey, that might be disputed now at this point because, like, the SmackDown and Raw,
really good.
Yeah,
Raw's
SmackDown
really
and Raw
right
is getting increasingly better and more watchable. So, debatably the best television and wrestling television. Yeah, NXT had their television event, Heat Wave. And it was a lot of solid wrestling. What would you give that show, Dub? That was the show special.
Solid B+.
Okay, here for it.
Solid B+.
What was your highlight? Give me a highlight or two.
Oh, it was Santos and Tony again. The conclusion of NXT Gang Wars, which has been going on 4 months. Like, you want to talk about long-term booking? They've given us this long-term booking with this entire thing, and Santos got his send-off of NXT.
That's
so
2.
Emperor of Lucha
That's 2
Libre.
for Tony D.
2 for Tony D.
He is literally taking people to Olive Garden, and they are never returning. Technically 3, if you count 2 dimes, 3 stacks. Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity, whatever his name is, I don't know. That guy that randomly appeared on AEW now. So
yeah, he kicked him out of the universe, if you will, into another wrestling universe.
the multiverse of madness. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, so we had Tony D, who took out Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa is gone now on the main roster with The Miz. He just fought Santos Escobar.
Oh, wait. Tony D's 3 for 3. Ciampa, Pete Dunne, and now Santos.
Damn.
Whew. Hitman.
Yeah. So we got Ciampa with Miz. We got Butch, Pete Dunne with
the Brawling Brutes.
Yeah, I don't know. With Sheamus. I'm gonna say that because I'm not gonna say that name. And then we're going to he beat Santos. So do we see him team with fucking Dominic or something? It's the weirdest pair. Like, they lose and then they go with somebody that I would not see them going with. So all right, well,
Santos
put him with Dominic.
Ends up teaming with Dominic. I'm gonna need 2 weeks off of the pod. I'm gonna need 2 weeks of mourning. I would be so upset.
Your request has been denied. I'm gonna need all your vitriol, all your rage. Dominic, boom. Dominic, boom. I'm gonna be sick to my stomach.
Oh, it's making me sick just thinking.
It's gonna be Judgment Day versus the mysterious ones. I don't know. It's gonna be bad. Like, oh, this is my long lost son, Santos Mysterio. Oh my gosh, I'm sick just thinking about it. But I would love to see Santos come up and just destroy Dominic too, because that's just a running gag. Everybody has to kill Dominic to get to Ray. and then him and Ray fight it out for the honor of Lucha Libre, and then slowly bring up the rest of his crew, and then Legado is formed once again. Legado lives on through the eyes of Smackdown, because that shakeup is coming soon, or the draft, I should say. So he kills Dominic. Him and Ray fight it out, and then his group comes up. He establishes he is the master of Lucha Libre, and then next thing you know, bam, you're on SmackDown running shit. That's how you book the territory. Thank you.
So we're both agreeing that we do want Santos on SmackDown, right?
Absolutely. They are in need. They have the things that come to my mind, I can't say. I was gonna say the brutes, the butchers, yeah, all that. They got them. They have
the international flavor.
Yeah, and they got the bloodline, maybe, and who knows for how long, because that might be switched over to Raw. But I'm thinking that yes, with Hit Row, who came back, which was awesome, you got room now to have another big feuding group on, and they did have a little thing going beforehand, just before they actually got released with Legado. I would not hate seeing that run back, or some other stuff. So there you go. I'm with it.
Yeah, like you think about the matches Santos could have up there that he didn't get to have in NXT. You're talking about him and Gunther. You're talking about him and Nakamura. Him versus Ricochet.
I mean, I got
Santos
a question.
versus Kofi would be a banger.
I got a question.
What's up?
Are they gonna let him win now? Because he ain't. I can't tell you the last time he won a match. He's kind of like in that set.
I feel like on the main roster, he has to win something. I think on NXT he was getting to be like a Seth Rollins level of he doesn't need to win. He's just that damn good.
Yeah, but it was like Seth mixed with Bray, because he had the stable, he talked the game, and then he just never got it done. And you're like, damn it, why is he not all the champions? He should be the North American champ. He should be the champ. He should have beat Braun Breaker. He was the guy to do it. You felt real, and they had room to do it, because guess what? He has a whole faction that has to stop Braun. Why not? Every time I seen Santos and he comes out, and again, he didn't disappoint this time either with the luchador mask, the cool. Of course, they love the crosses. They love those crazy crosses. That's like a thing in Lucha Libre culture.
It is.
But they had all of that, and it was fresh. He came out, and that was the send-off that we needed. So loved it. Moving away from there, we had the opener, which was my boy, my clone, Mr. Mello Don't Miss, Carmelo Hayes versus who's it? Giovanni.
Is he the
Vinci?
most consistent champion in wrestling?
Wasn't it against Giovanni?
It was Giovanni Vinci.
Yes.
Is
Definitely.
Mello the most consistent champion? Yeah. Okay.
Easily. He's putting on fantastic matches. He's cutting great promos. Like, he really don't miss. His Twitter game is hilarious and embarrassing. He's just destroying people. Like, he is a full package.
And he's helping Trick get over separately as well.
Yeah, no complaints. I feel like if Vince was still in Gorilla, they'd be plucking Carmelo pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
But I think, unfortunately, I'm not going to get my wish, but I think Melo needs to take that gold off of Braun. But it's like, what do you have Braun do? I don't think he loses until he gets called up for Royal Rumble.
I feel like we book Braun Breaker losing that belt every week.
I think we're wishful thinking, and we'll talk about it. But we'll talk about it in a minute. But before we go there, yeah, I think I would love to see. There's like 5 people in NXT roster right now that I would love to see beat Braun Breaker and would be better champions? Can you guess? Okay. I'm gonna give you the room. I'll say 4 for sure.
You said 4?
4.
Carmelo for sure.
Bam, that's
1. Julius Creed.
That was not one
Creed
of mine.
Fans. That was not
I'm gonna get to him, but that was not one of them. You got 2 more guesses.
Tony D.
That was again not one of them, but I will allow that. I like it.
You know what? I know you, Wesley.
No, that's definitely not one of them.
What?
Yeah, no.
Solo Sikoa.
No.
All right, I'm out of guesses.
You're out of here, buddy. You're out of here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was a bad strikeout. Well, so now you got to renounce yourself. You can't claim that you know me. You don't know me. We're complete strangers now. Just this friendship is over. You don't even know.
15 years gone. Right. Hit the neuralizer.
Who are you? Like, no, just a guy taking your TV. Don't worry about it. No, my guys was going to be Carmelo for sure. Technically, I'll accept Tony D, but I was thinking Santos because that just
Santos not there no more.
Exactly, and that's why I said I'll give you that one.
I was gonna say you know I would say Santos. I've been booking him taking that belt off of Braun for 3 months.
I book him to take every belt. I don't even care. Like, yep, you need that belt. But Apollo Crews.
Oh, okay.
That just it feels like it's the other guy that in this arena of the NXT league, he's small enough but big enough to feel like, oh, because that's the issue with JD McDonough. It was like, I would want to see him win, but I think he's just a little too small for them to
buy it.
For the people to buy it, or at least traditional thinking, at least not yet. But
suspension of the disbelief.
Right, but I think Apollo Crews is just as sizable, just as athletic, and has enough, kind of like Dolph Ziggler, where it's like, oh yeah, this guy could win. So that was going to be my other guy. And then last, I was going to go with not Solo Sikoa. Who's my other guy down there that I'm missing?
Von Wagner?
Dude, if y'all can see the look that I just gave the fury in my bones, I was disgusted. Definitely not no damn Von Wagner. Damn, I cannot recall who I was thinking about now. So
Grimes?
Out sorta, and technically yes, because I guess we were booking him, but I was thinking like he kind of isn't there anymore. But yeah, I would definitely say Grimes could have been a winner and a recipient of that belt as well. So yeah, it's so many guys that I could see, like pretty much everybody that's not necessarily in a tag team should be taking that belt off of Braun Breaker.
Shit, put it on Julius. I don't care.
Yeah, let's talk about that because Braun Breaker did his thing, but like I said, with Carmelo and Giovanni Vinci, that match was great, and I loved it. I thought they might be ready to take that belt off, and I was like, no, because Giovanni Vinci is great. Fabian Eichner was awesome, and he's still just as good. That powerbomb, that last ride powerbomb is brutal, and he just has a lot of moves. That guy is really good. So I think he was the other guy that I said I think I could see him winning the title as well. That's what it was. And I know they got to build up the character just a little bit more, but he's ready because he's really good. But yes, to that point, Julius, MF, and Creed. This guy, him and CM Punk must be wearing the same earpiece connected to some random black woman in the back that's feeding them lines. Every week he hit us with one. Every week he say some shit that I'm like, that's some who you date? Who you talking to? Who your girl? He be saying some shit. He was like, hey man, it's on site. I was like, what? Excuse me?
The one time he said, yeah, I stay strapped up. Let's go. And you're like, wait, it's Julius about to shoot people? Like, oh no, he meant wrestling straps. It just works that way.
Don't talk about it. Be about it. I was like, what? Like, who's feeding this man these lines?
What ran Roddy Makeup say?
Right.
What?
Like, nah. I'm telling you, Julius he's a star. And I have come completely full circle and 360, 180, 720, kick flip McTwist 900, all around on the Creed brothers. I'm fully in, love them, and it's because of Julius Creed. He is insane. I
think Julius is gonna, like, out of this current crop of NXT guys, Julius is gonna be the one that's gonna end up being a star.
Easily.
They're gonna push Braun, and Melo's clearly the best wrestler. Tony D's gonna be a steady hand for the next 10 to 15 years. But if you look at one guy,
Tony D is the Baron Corbin. He's really good.
He's gonna have a job for a long time. He's gonna be really good at it.
Yes.
Same thing with Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller has proven he's gonna be good at the job for a long time. Shout out to James.
So, I was like, someone is fuming right now. He might have spontaneously combusted. You just killed Jama. As soon as he hears this.
But when you look at this roster and you look top to bottom and you're like, who delivers every time? It's Julius Creed. And like, he delivers in ways you're not expecting, like on the microphone, or then like his aggression in the ring. And like, yeah, Julius Creed is going to be a star.
He has potential. I think right now, if I had to look, my money's on Carmelo Hayes. He is he's like the can't miss guy. Like he's a total package. He can do everything. He has the look. He has the swagger. He has like a bigger platform is only going to make his star rise, because women are going to love him. Dude's going to love his style and his acumen. And then he has the bravado to talk the shit. It's one of those can't miss guys. Julius Creed has potential, but it just depends on what they give him, as far as if they break him up or if they keep him in the tag team, and then like what type of angles they put him in, etc. so forth. Carmelo, it jumps off the page. No matter what you put him in, he ain't missing.
Yeah, so I say Julius because he has the size. Like, don't get me wrong, you know, with Trips running things, everything's different. But some things are what they are. And yeah, Melo jumps off the screen anytime he does anything. And like I said, Melo's going to come out that crop when you get all these guys caught up. It's like, yo, that's the best wrestler of this group. And it's not really close until you start talking about Santos. Which, again, those guys could go at it for forever. They could be my WrestleMania main event.
Forever, no AEW video game. My God, I need it.
I think just because Julius has that size, that like when they're gonna pick out a guy outside of Braun to push to the top, it's gonna be Julius. Like, I think Carmelo's gonna get there kind of the same way, like guys who aren't necessarily picked to get there, it's gonna be undeniable. Like the way like a Kofi, a DB, an AJ Styles, you keep seeing it and you're like, yo. We can't deny this guy anymore. It's too much. So when Melo gets to the top, it's going to be like that. But when you pick a guy to push and a guy that's going to deliver, to me, it's going to be Julius Creed.
Interesting. I'm going to just slightly disagree, only because, like I said, I'm so high on Melo. As soon as he came in, I was like, who's this guy? And then when he won as he's wrestling through the tournament, the breakout tournament, I'm like, this guy's good. And he has not.
Oh, yeah, I was sold after his first match with Adam Cole.
I can say, truly, I have not seen him put on a bad match. I can't say that he's had a bad promo. He's done all the heavy lifting, and with Trips and all the people around, it's almost like it's like can't miss. It's like, hey, you want to know what would happen if we had a guy that was like Ricochet, but could talk,
but cool,
right? Exactly, like because he could be a huge baby face too. That's the thing, because he has it, so he could just be either, and it's so good. That's why I say the sky's the limit for him. And size, you can put on some extra pounds. I've seen him heavier. Actually, that picture with him and MJF took from the Indies, he was bigger. So it's so many things like that. Again, I don't want to get bogged down by it, but love that. Something that I did also love. The women's.
At the very end of the night.
No. Something that I also loved. Yo, it's E-Ray, the quasi bad guy, the Diet Coke of evil, the side god of pod, and I'm here to tell y'all, come check out my show, Binge Flicks and Chill. You never know what you're gonna get, but we always talking some good shit when it comes to television and the latest movies. So we want to bring y'all in. We want to make sure you have a good time. You learn something, you laugh, you cry, you might stab a nigga or two. I don't know what you're gonna get, but that shit is popping. So come check out Binge Flicks and Chill. And it's me, E-Ray, and I'm out. not disliked. Something that I also love, Mandy Rose. Still got that belt. Zoe Starks could not take it away. What are your thoughts?
I wasn't shocked at all because I'm like, when you hot shot somebody back from an injury, it has to be somebody who like was already there. And when Zoe got hurt, she was in the tag tournament, and you're like, and there's no denying that Zoe Stark is extremely talented, but I was like, she not take the belt off Mandy talented. Now, if Big Back Pose was still there and had the belt, you put that belt on Zoe immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Mandy's just doing work right now,
and she's really good. Like her matches. I don't understand it. I see a lot of people that we follow giving her flack, and I'm like, no, Mandy's
somebody
like
said
doing
she was
her
Nikki
job.
Bella with wrestling talent, and then I saw somebody say they booking Mandy like Bruno Sammartino, which was hilarious to me.
It's true. It's damn true.
I mean, it is.
But at the same time, like unlike Braun, we're going to talk about in a second, I have no issue with her winning on any of these, and her matches are good. They're compelling, and I'm legitimately like, oh shit, is Wendy Chu gonna win? Is Roxanne Perez gonna win? And it's like reeling me in, and then she somehow gets them and takes it away. But I'm not mad at it. I'm like, hey, that was good. Like every time.
So the difference with Mandy and Braun is when we book somebody to take the belt off of Mandy, we say, well, this is how we think they might do it, but we don't know. When we book somebody to take the belt off of Braun, we're like, no, guys, please. Are you listening?
Please.
Do it. Like,
anyone.
We booked it 10 ways to Sunday.
Anyone but you, Braun. Anyone but you.
We sat here last week and booked JD McDonough taking that belt off of Braun.
I booked it 17 seconds before the match started. I was like, wait a second, guys. E-Ray was so wrong. I was like, hey, listen, I need for certain. I knew it. I felt it in my bones. I might have contacted the wrestling ancestors or something. I was like, oh my gosh, I should have had that conspiracy theory thing up because I was like, oh my gosh, guys, check this out. There has been no title changes thus far. This Heat Wave pay-per-view, I don't know, live event thing to get us really and get that popping off. You know what they got to do? Braun's losing that belt. Calling it.
And
I was so wrong.
You saw JD McDonough walk out there with no special entrance at all?
Nope.
You said,
at all.
Oh no, I've made a grave error here.
Absolutely. I was like, oh man, nah, he came off super regular, like McDonough. I was like, what is this? Just a green light already in his trunks? I was like, this is not a crowning achievement intro. So
That's not somebody who got told they were going over.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like,
and then Braun walks out with the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And then he hits a box that has JD on. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Why?
I was like, this is awful, but you know, he's gonna win. And I was like, damn it. But I will say, we talked about it. You mentioned that Tony Storm and Painesville Steve had most of their match during picture-in-picture. This match for McDonough versus Braun Breaker started at what, like 8 to 9:56?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so this match isn't gonna last. So McDonough, like, it has to be a longer match from. They went like 10 minutes over time, over the hour, at the hour mark.
And most of that was like just Braun throwing McDonough around.
Yeah, and then McDonough's like, oh, he got his second win. He did something or another. And then he was like, hey, Braun, spear me. like a masochist. And he's like, yeah. He's all bleeding out the mouth. And I was like, well, that was cool, though. Like, that was a redeeming factor. They gave him something. First, when he got that spear, I was like, shit, it's over. But then he got it back up. I was like, oh, shit, they might. And then he was like, no, just give me another one, bro. And he did. And I was like, fuck. So.
But wait, there's more. As Braun celebrates his 5,000th title defense.
Undeserving.
Who shows up? Tyler Bate.
Yeah.
The inaugural NXT UK champion.
Yeah.
The new NXT UK champion. Spoiling the tournament, which will go on this weekend.
Right. Whoops.
Yep. Comes out, holds the belt up. Like, yeah, I want that one too. Leading us into some of the big news of the day. I'll gloss over this quickly, guys, since no one watches NXT UK except for me.
Oh, you
NXT
finally
UK
admitted.
is
Clip that. Low, if you hear me, clip that piece. We're going to use that forever. Since no one watches NXT UK but me.
Allegedly.
Me. Says A-Dub.
Anyways, NXT UK is being rebranded as NXT Europe. It's sounding like they're going to expand across the entire continent.
Good.
Which means the NXT UK is going away for what people are saying is pretty much the rest of this year, maybe all of next year as well.
Oh, wow.
The last event for NXT UK is going to be Worlds Collide, in which it's sounding like we're getting Tyler Bate versus Braun Breaker, which probably in a week or two's time, me and E will book Tyler Bate taking that belt off of Braun Breaker.
Yeah. Gotta be done.
Gallus showed up as well.
Gallus showed up, and I was like, oh, bunch of British Steves. I don't know the hell they are either. Like, oh, it's Gallus. The Gallus bros are Gallus and with the Gallus.
Nah, Joe Coffey's the main event talent. You'll see in a few weeks. Trust me.
I mean, I would if I watched NXT UK like you did, but I don't. So I don't know.
Yeah, so there were about like 30 people total in NXT UK between the men's and the women's roster. Maybe closer to 40.
Just gonna fold them in. Come on, guys.
They cut a few people. They're bringing some into the fold while they build up this new thing. So I don't know if we're going to unify these titles. If they're going to do like Pete Dunne did for like a year and a half and just walk around with the NXT UK title without a territory. Who knows?
I will say
that's where we're going.
The only NXT UK person, and if they're going to fold this in, let me book this really quickly before I know we got to run. Got to get a couple of gems off with the other shows, but Tyler Bate and Braun Breaker have a hell of a match, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's interrupted by Ilya Dragunov. And then they have a program. Ilya takes that bill. I know that would never happen, but I love that guy. He is a force, and it'll be so fun to watch. But yeah. Or vice versa. He interferes, Braun escapes, and Ilya begins to beat the brakes off Tyler Bate. That goes into their feud, which NXT belt is just on, or the NXT UK title is just on NXT, which is fine. And then that's when they start the Apollo Crews versus Braun Breaker feud, and then we book Apollo Crews to take that belt off of Braun Breaker.
So I love it. Only issue is
I know
Ilya is hurt.
I know. I was like, I thought about it like, well, since they're going to be doing this soon, was like, damn. But I would like to see him come into the fold eventually. Probably he won't be there before they fix him up, because that's why they had to turn him in the first place.
Let me put you like this, E. When he walked in to relinquish that belt, he had one of those canes that like wraps around your wrist to help him walk.
Jeez.
Well, he hurt.
Well, a boy can dream.
You've seen his style. That's just kind of how he goes. But I'm interested to see what they do. And when NXT Europe launches,
I might watch that. Yeah, because you're like, I don't watch NXT UK. I watch NXT Europe. And I like football.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the one with your actual feet. Shut up, Dub.
Football.
You're a soccer. Imagine Dub is a soccer hooligan.
Could you imagine?
Oi! Aussie! Oi!
With the long scarf.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's nuts. Talk about racism. Well, anyway. Let's get to the main shows so we can get out of here. Let's hit y'all with a quick fast, because me and Dub like to run our miles. But speaking of running miles, Monday Night Raw came on with a banger promo, the best promo of his career, I might say, from Drew McIntyre.
Whew.
I was hot. I was
he
like,
said he's going to defend that title on Raw, defend that title on Smackdown, on the house shows. He said he'll go to NXT and defend it, because that's what the belt deserves. And then started naming names. And before he could get to somebody's name, somebody came out. Who was that, E?
Oh, that was you mean the prize fighter?
The motherfucking prize fighter.
I mean,
came out and just cut what might have been the best promo of his career.
I gotta watch it again, because if you guys don't know, we're talking about Kevin Owens, KO himself, the original 1.0, not the Ezekiel crazy Kevin Owens. Talking about the I powerbomb my best friend on his spine. Now I'm taking that belt, Kevin Owens. Hardest part of the ring, ladies and gentlemen. He has no mercy for your spine. Okay. He cut a promo, but it seemed to really supercharge Drew McIntyre, which then continued and delivered what I would call the best promo of his career. And it was so passionate. It was so hot. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this. I really could see him beating the Tribal Chief. It was crazy. Because they're doing a great job of heating Drew up. And when he had to do all the goofy stuff, and he was like, you can tell when Drew is like a little bit unleashed. And it seems like some of the stuff that KO said to him really got under his skin. He's like, what do you mean I've been handed to me? Like, I was the chosen one like 15 years ago. 15, yeah. It's like, I got fired and I worked my ass off and I did this and I did that and I came here and I fought everybody in NXT. Did this. And I was like, whoa, it was so good. So good, Drew. And Drew looks like just a fucking Scottish Terminator. So it everything, when he's saying it and he's just giving it to you, you believe it. I got excited. He sounds like he believes everything he's saying, for sure. And then and KO's back to having that kind of chip on his shoulder at all times KO, which to me is, I always thought that was one of the coolest things about KO, is that he was never a guy that was going to have the look, but in that ring, he was undeniable, and he knew it, and he knew that you knew it type of thing. To me, KO has always been the Pusha T of wrestling. He speaks with this disrespect towards you for knowing how great he is, but not giving him the respect that he feels he's due at all times. It's like, I know I'm better for other guys. I know I'm better than everybody else, and the people who know, they know, and they know that I know. Right, and I'm gonna keep doing this, and y'all be like, why is he still doing this? Because I do this, and that's how Kevin Owens operates. And you're like, man, I just want that Kevin Owens back, and here we go. We got him. No more mainstream. Just balls. I didn't know that I needed Drew versus KO
as a feud, but I need it now. I need it in my veins.
I want to say I loved it so much because I was like, typically if Vince was still in charge, then Kevin Owens would have lost, and it would have been like, hey, Kevin Owens is clearly, he's like the upper mid card gatekeeper, so you just trot him out there, he gives a great promo, and then he takes a L. What we end up seeing instead, which was so sensible to the character and the change of his energy, is we're gonna have a banger match. They're giving it up, and I'm like, oh shit, who's gonna win? Like, can Drew lose? Because they're heating him up. I don't see him losing. Right. But I'm like, KO is like going off. He hits him with the stunner. He's like, you know what? There's no prize on the line. He's like, tell Roman, you owe me one. And they just walked away. And then Drew still got up and whipped the Usos' ass. It was so great. That's a fucking finish. And fucking Raw, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the beginning.
In the title picture.
That's the beginning.
So what do we have in the title picture now? We have Roman, we have Drew, we have Cross, we have Theory, we have K. We have a 5-man title picture.
And that might be on the low end. I think there's still like 2 other guys like looming just on the outskirts of the main title, which is Seth Rollins and shit.
And Riddle.
Yeah, well, yeah. And they're in a feud together, so they just kind of keep each other occupied doing the dance. But shit,
you got guys who are next up like Montez Ford, and you know they're trying some things out with Madcap Moss to see if they can get him to stick.
Yeah, man. Some things are happening. I mean, it's
shit. Finn Balor's in a feud that's winning matches, and you can easily move him back up, given his cachet alone. Bobby's looking fucking dominant. Gunther's looking dominant because they're making those mid-card titles matter, which thank you, Triple H. Thank you so much.
If only he could just do something like take that Intercontinental belt and change it back, or change it to something else. I do not like that design. It feels so generic.
I think that design works for Gunther, but
it does nothing for me. Maybe put a red strap behind it. I might be more interested, but the way the gold plates and the circular in like center thing looks, I just do not like that belt. I have not cared about it, and the IC belt has been one of my favorites, especially with the white back. So maybe throw some red on that joint. I don't know, do something to make it pop, but I do not care about that belt in that way. But I do care that they're making the belt itself feel like it's something. They keep running the promos. Bobby is kicking ass with the US title, making that feel great. And on the other end, I think Smackdown closed out with a 20-minute banger between Gunther, the Ring General, and Shinsuke Nakamura. And
talk about international cachet.
Yeah, they let him go, and this was Nakamura's best match since his debut match against Sami Zayn, I would say.
It's close.
This one they kind of showed out. So I was like, okay.
I might pick his second match with Joe, but that's just me being a nerd. But yeah, this is up there.
I might even say the one he had with was it Roman not too long ago? I believe so. That was a while ago, but when they were about to heat him up, and he had a good match, and then he just lost. I really thought that was a good match too. But yeah, I don't know.
And then they follow that up with Bobby and AJ for apparently what was the first time ever. TNA, you guys failed the test on that one. Well, Jesus Christ.
I mean, we know what TNA is about. It does not stand for like totally not abusing our power and messing up shit. It's not what TNA means. It's like, so no. I completely see how they blew that. But yeah, we got fucking Bobby and AJ Styles. We got
10:30, so old man A-Dub could go to sleep on Monday. I was very happy.
Man, we got a lot of good matches. We got KO and and Drew early. Then we had the women early. Like, it was a lot of good wrestling. And then my one critique, which I'm going to sound a little hypocritical, I didn't like the end with Theory and your boy, or my boy, I should say, Zigzag.
Expound upon that.
Why
not?
Honestly, it didn't feel big. It was a good match, but it felt like it should have been on at like maybe like 9 o'clock.
So
it should have opened the second hour of programming with that match, and then they probably could have took either Drew and I think actually Drew and KO. That ending should have been the ending of the show. Honestly, that I think that's
fair.
That feels like that made the most sense. But I would have.
Here's why they did that.
Here, fine with also Bobby and AJ in it, but just saying as far as the gravitas and then the way how you end a wrestling show and how we're used to it, that fit more the motif of next week, and then Drew is hot as fish grease, and then KO is kind of in the wing, etc.
So here's why they do that, because contrary to old booking styles and like what the older guys think, the least amount of people watching Monday Night Raw are watching in that last segment.
No, I agree. It's just like
so
podcasting.
The main event,
it's like podcasting.
Yeah, the main
only
event
sick people like
is that
myself
match
listen to shit all the way through.
The main event is at 9:30 to 10 o'clock hour, because that's when the most people are watching.
Yeah.
So, and Trips and Nick Khan being numbers guys as far as who's watching and what reactions we're getting, they're gonna put what you consider the main event between 9:30 and 10. And they're going to treat Raw kind of like a movie from now on. Climax in the middle, falling action.
Resolution. Yeah. I get it. Now that you say it that way, it makes sense. But wrestling typically, instead of being a movie, it's supposed to be a cliffhanger show. So it leaves you on a high and on the edge, like, oh shit, can't wait to see what happens next, and not like, because then you kind of forget because you're left with the okay. But
also most wrestling shows are 2 hours.
Valid, but
only Monday Night Raw is 3 hours. No other wrestling show in the history of all of wrestling has been 3 hours.
This is true.
So they're just kind of booking it out. They're like, let's get the most eyes on what we think is going to be our best thing at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, and
then we just got this extra hour. Because we can never go back now, unfortunately.
Right. Well, I mean that makes perfect sense.
But I mean, also having that third hour is why they're bringing back so much talent. Why Loomis is popping up again. Why Hit Row is back.
Top
and why
nada.
Good job. I would stand on my couch that entire segment.
Felt good for Hit Row to come back. I like the things with Loomis come back. They had say if they do Loomis being back, they kind of still showing them little by little, and like a hand here and there, speculation like, oh my God, is that Bray Wyatt? Like, no, that's Dexter Loomis' hand with his creepy Dexter Loomis glove. Like, calm down, guys. But with that said, I'm still like, I love the slow plays, the reveals and things like that. I love that Dexter being back. They gave a nod to that with Indy Hartwell in NXT because they were married, and then all of a sudden he was just fired, and it was like
he was just gone.
Oh, and her and her girl was gone. It's like, oh shit, there's nobody left for me, and it was sad. And then she gets a note, and it's indexed forever, and I was like, yeah, I popped hard for that. So that was dope.
Yeah.
I love that we get the original Karrion Kross back that we liked, but with hair. Just plus hair, like a little wardrobe change, kind of like Grand Theft Auto, when you just like, oh, let me add something. I'm gonna change it. Ding, ding, ding. Hair.
Got hair 3 now. Stars down to 1 star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go to the house, change your wardrobe, put on the leather, because leather means badass in wrestling.
Absolutely.
In the wrestling media or medium, leather and dark colors mean bad or badass. Light
That's
colors.
why they put Apollo in leather real quick.
Yeah. And he's also the equalizer, so he probably killed the cows himself and like just skinned them and stretched it and made his jacket because that's what he does. But I just love all the little subtle notes of everything that's going on. But I gotta say, is it enough, or are we sick of the comebacks with Hit Row popping up? It was like, that was an interesting choice. I didn't especially without Swerve. It's like, are we gonna get sick of, and like, how much longer can they do this, bringing random people back that's gonna get us excited, or is it gonna become an issue? Now it's problematic, it's troublesome because we got too many people again in the locker room.
So first thing with Hit Row, apparently Swerve was not a part of the original 3, which is why they call themselves the OG 3. So that's why that's gonna work minus Swerve, because they were gonna have that going. They just added Swerve into it, which it worked great with Swerve. But shout out to Swerve. I think like there's different values and philosophy here. I think Triple H and Nick Khan value having, not Nick Khan as much, he's a numbers guy, but Triple H values you having a deep roster. So, and we're not talking about like bringing, he's not bringing back like Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch just to, be two bald guys running around.
I mean, he should. Just saying, Oney Lorcan go.
He's not bringing back Tino Sabatelli. He's bringing back people we care about.
I stand on Lorcan. I'm a Oney Lorcan stan. Wait.
I love Oney. I love Oney.
But like, on 205 when he was the colorful guy, or just the black trunks when he's part of that 1 and 2 gimmick. Either way.
Yeah, I love Oney, but like, you have to admit, he was just kind of around to be a hard-nosed guy that loses matches.
Yeah, I mean, he heated up though. They've had a few of those guys that were heating up, and you're like, they should be winning, and they just don't. So I get it, but yes, I'll agree with you there.
So, and I think Triple H has like a list. I think he has a list of guys that like that were let go, that he's crossing off like, all right, in AEW. The rest of them he's bringing back.
Yeah, he's like, wait. Nah. How long's your contract? We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, because speaking of which, there's rumors that there's a currently under contract AEW member that WWE reached out to, and crazy Tony is like, oh, I got everybody on contract for 16 years, and it was like, well, okay, we get it, but I was trying to think like, well, who would be some of the guys that they signed maybe early that haven't been quite utilized, and that he could be talking to that would be poised for a WWE return?
There's only one name. Andrade.
Oh,
only one name.
Sorry, I feel different. I think it's another.
Well, based on what you said, like somebody who they signed early on before the influx. I know who you're thinking. Can I spoil it?
Go for it.
I'm gonna say Miro,
the Redeemer.
Also, I know you again. We're friends again.
Okay, we can be friends. you're on a trial based period. I mean,
only reason I say Andrade over Miro is because like they were like Triple H loves Andrade and probably wanted to push him to the moon.
And
like
Charlotte,
just based on his NXT run,
and it helps.
And
Charlotte.
Charlotte is there. Yeah. I think Miro's a guy that Triple H likes, but he don't like him the way he loves Andrade.
I understand that. I think what would lead me to believe that you might be a little bit more accurate here is because Andrade hasn't been doing a lot of anything of importance, and then they've been saying he's been misused. He's been off TV a lot, and they just didn't have things for him. And he really has just been sputtering. Character hasn't evolved. It's just been like whatever. So that's the only reason why I can say. And he also voiced some displeasure or liked. That's the new way of how these guys show that they don't like things. Somebody tweets something, they just like it. Like, man,
aggressive.
But look, man, I'm happy where I am. They're like, man, that nigga Tony Khan a bitch ass nigga. He was like, well, I guess. But Miro, on the other hand, has found his character. The Redeemer is incredible, but Miro is big time, and there was no reason why he should have been let go from WWE or walked away or whatever the case may have been. And also, they are now allowing Twitch streams back in WWE. So those are two things that make me think, and well, the third being that they've also done nothing with Miro. They've not pulled a trigger where he won the TNT title, and he was probably the best TNT champion. Other than that, he lost the transatlantic Harriet Tubman slave trade belt, and then he has been nowhere near the main title picture. So I could also see it being very possible that Miro could be the guy that he wants, because Rusev Day was huge, and Triple H is not like Vince McMahon. He doesn't care. Hey, if it's yours, he actually salutes, because he was one of the guys that had to figure out a gimmick to get himself over. And he said that's one of the things that people have been missing in the biz now, because we're kind of giving y'all everything that people who don't just take chances and risks. So having Rusev be able to do that, or Miro come back, or be Miro, whatever, I think that those are two guys that I can see, like, that would make so much sense. Everybody else that's left WWE and is now in AEW is doing much better. So those are the only two I see.
Here's another reason I think it might be Andrade, because Andrade asked to leave.
And Tony Khan said,
No. He asked to leave WWE.
Okay.
He asked for his release because he wasn't happy with how, way Vince was pushing him. Mm-hmm. Triple H is there. Again, Andrade is another Triple H guy.
Yep.
So it would make sense for Triple to be like, yo, this is all me now. When's your shit up? And then, Andrade might have got an email or something, and might have had somebody else read it for him, and then whoever that is went to snitch to Tony. Goddamn snitch. All right. But
Tony, a bitch,
if it's not one of those two guys, if it's not one of those two guys, my guess is it would be Keith Lee.
That I don't see. It just doesn't make sense. Why do people calling me? No, I'm pod. I'm pod.
No, it makes sense because Keith Lee's a guy you can push to the moon immediately, and he's not a guy that Tony Khan has done a line and said, "Oh, I've signed him to 85 years, 360 deal." Because Triple H isn't calling Adam Cole, because Tony Khan's been very adamant of Adam Cole's on a 95-year deal for forever, and then I got another one for you before we get out of here. Malachi Black.
That's an interesting one. Because I don't think that he's unhappy.
I don't either.
It's
but
good.
I can see Triple H reaching out to him.
I could see it, but I think the House of Black, he likes the stuff he's doing there. But yeah, considering that he had created this whole new character, he lost the eye, and then he was about to do stuff. He had crazy vignettes, and then the next week he was gone. It was nuts. And that his wife is also still in WWE. Though that is also good reason to be. So
those are the three I would think: Miro, Andrade, or Malachi Black. Mostly Andrade, because Andrade left and Andrade hasn't been doing shit, and because Charlotte's there. And anything you can do to get Charlotte back in line would be greatly appreciated by everybody else on the roster.
Right. Well, ladies, gentlemen, we have come to a conclusion of another episode of Let Me Book the Territory. Dub, please tell the people where they can find you, and we will speculate more next week.
All right, guys. Every Tuesday, embrace the turn up. Me and the homie John giving you cultural commentary, talking about me crying watching Hard Knocks because I'm so happy. And if you're looking for me on the socials,
I run through a brick wall.
ADUB.
I'm gonna do some ups and downs with your coach.
Hey man, between Hard Knocks and the Kurt Angle biography, gym session's been great this week.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been to the gym this week. I've just been feeling like, man, I am so motivated to not do anything.
And if you're looking for me on them socials, ADUB1220 on everything. BA and J-Mo will be back next week. E-Ray, hit them with your socials and let's bounce.
Yes, sir. It is I, the quasi bad guy, the Diet Coke of evil. You can find me at E_RAY_ the bad guy on the Instagrams. I made a cameo on somebody else's cool workout video. Had to show the peeps. I was looking like a fucking unit. Jacked. I got to make sure I don't lose it like Lex Luger. So I will be back in the gym soon. Also, you can find me at E_RAY the hipster on the Twitters, discussing random shenanigans and tweeting hilarious things, live tweeting most of our television shows, reactions of wrestling, cutting down on the Twitter field because my algorithms were disturbing. Other than that, you can find me at Inaudible Ruckus podcast every Saturday. And stay tuned for Binge Flicks and Chill Season 2 coming soon, like the AEW Fight Forever game. I'm not giving you an exact date, but just know it's hitting all platforms, motherfucker. So go buy you a t-shirt. But with that said, Fight Forever. Binge Forever. As Dub loves to say, to sweet me when you see me. Everything is wrestling, and let the madness wash over you. Yeah. And we're out of here.
Peace.